It's a warm March day in the city of Ozark, Alabama. Not to be confused with the Ozark Mountain Range in Arkansas and Missouri. This is a small city of 15,000 working-class people. Just beyond the city of Ozark is the Choctawhatchee River. On hot summer days, Ozark residents like to swim here. On an early spring afternoon, Tracy Harris is content just sitting by the river with her friends.
One of the group is Tracy's ex-husband, Carl Harris.
Carl and Tracy are often in the company of close friends Don and Jeff Beasley.
Carl, Tracy, Jeff, and Don Beasley went fishing together on numerous occasions.
It's a popular fishing and swimming spot, though you won't find Tracy in the water. She's scared to death of it.
Some folks say that Carl is the jealous type, so even though he and Tracy are divorced and he's dating someone new, he still isn't too hot on the idea of Tracy having a social life.
For a couple that's separated, they spend a lot of time together.
Though Tracy and Carl are no longer married, they still live in the same house. And for a month in January of 1990, the Beasleys live with them.
Carl and Jeff Beasley were very best friends. They were roofers in the area, and Carl had hired Jeff Beasley to work with him. So yes, they were very good friends.
According to Dawn, Carl's got a short temper and there's constant fighting. It's a toxic environment, especially since she's pregnant with her and Jeff's first child.
Dawn isn't happy living here. She hates seeing the way Carl treats Tracy, and she can't seem to convince Tracy to move out.
Tracy stays because she wants to keep her family together. Tracy and Carl have a 3-year-old daughter named Carolyn, and Tracy wants her daughter to grow up with some semblance of a functional family. Even if, by all accounts, this is not the healthiest environment.
Dawn fears for Tracy, but she knows it isn't healthy to sacrifice her own peace and happiness. She convinces Jeff to find a place of their own.
Dawn and Jeff Beasley move out in February of 1990. The Beasleys aren't the only ones who are aware of Carl's aggressive behavior towards Tracy.
It's kind of an open secret around town that Carl is abusive. Unfortunately, he isn't challenged on it, and when Dawn and Jeff move out of the Harris' home, they tell Carl the reason is because they're starting their own family, and they want their own space.
This is true. It's just not the whole truth.
Sometimes the fights get so bad the neighbors call police to the Harris home.
Carl is the one who's doing all the fighting. Tracy is, by all accounts, quite meek, she's soft-spoken, and she's compliant. She makes an easy target for his quick temper. And no matter what she does, including putting her own life on hold while he dates a younger woman, it's never good enough.
There aren't any official police reports that tell us how often officers are called to the residence and for what. In those days, if the victim chose not to press charges, police simply left the matter alone.
Tracy's trying so hard to keep her family together and raise Carolyn with a mom and a dad that she never presses charges against Carl.
Because both Tracy and Carl work a lot, their daughter Carolyn spends a good deal of time with her grandma, June Carolyn Gunter.
Tracy and Carl both work shifts on off hours, and June is happy to step in and take care of Carolyn whenever Tracy needs a babysitter.
Grandma June plays an instrumental role in little Carolyn's life, from the moment she's born.
Tracy first meets Carl when she's just 16. He's a few years older, but like her, he's involved with church, and the two form a quick connection.
Tracy's friends like Carl, and obviously she does too. It's a budding romance that quickly turns into young love. But in her senior year of high school, reality closes in on the young couple in a way that they aren't prepared for.
Tracy gets pregnant. It's a scary wake-up call with Tracy still in high school. She wants to keep the baby, so the couple decide to get married.
Family is everything to Tracy. She wants to give little Carolyn every advantage she can. And for her, the traditional nuclear family, a mom and a dad, is essential to making a good life for her daughter. even when it's to her own detriment.
In 1988, soon after Carolyn is born, Tracy and Carl divorce.
The divorce wasn't all Tracy's idea.
They were both just very probably immature and so young. I think there were some family members that maybe disliked Carl, and as a result, put a lot of pressure on Tracy to divorce him, which she did.
Even after the divorce goes through, they continue living together. They're still in the same house, and they still share the same bed.
They lived together continuously. They never separated. Never spent a night apart.
It's far from an ideal situation. For Tracy, it creates the illusion that they're still together, even though Carl seems to have moved on and is dating someone new.
Because of his jealousy, Tracy isn't allowed to date anyone.
Tracy justifies this unequal relationship, saying that the personal sacrifices she's making are worth it if her daughter can grow up with her father around.
It's a difficult position for Tracy to be in, but she remains optimistic as she navigates it. As she sees it, she and Carl are young parents trying to provide for their daughter one way or another.
On March 6, 1990, Carl organizes a little surprise birthday party for Tracy.
It wasn't all bad for Tracy and Carl. There were some pleasant moments too.
The very next day, on March 7th, 1990, life for the Harris family changes for the worse, and in ways that cannot be repaired.
At 9 p.m., Carl finishes his shift at Superfoods. He drives over and picks Tracy up from her waitressing job. He brings her home and goes to meet a friend at roughly 9:30.
Because both Tracy and Carl have later shifts, June is watching their daughter Carolyn for the night. Later that night, Carl returns from an evening out with his friend Bobby Herring. He heads to bed, trying to be quiet so he doesn't wake Tracy.
But when he turns the reading light on and looks over, he sees Tracy isn't in bed.
Carl searches the house, calling out for Tracy, but there's no sign of her. Her shoes, coat, and purse are still here, but she's gone.
The night before she went missing, Carl had a surprise birthday party for her at their house. So it absolutely shocked him when she wasn't home.
Carl panics. It's totally out of character for Tracy. Why would she go out and leave her coat and keys behind? And he can't think where she would go at this hour.
Carl goes straight to the authorities to report his ex-wife is missing.
Carl went straight to the police department. This is a very small town. I think his home was 3 blocks from the city police department.
Carl checks with everyone he knows to see where Tracy might have gone. He calls June, but she hasn't seen or heard from Tracy since she dropped Carolyn off. He calls friends like Dawn Beasley, but they haven't heard from her either.
He's trying to be rational. He doesn't think she's run off because there's no way she would leave Carolyn behind. Where can she be?
He went to every place you could possibly go. He went to the hospitals. He went to the local county sheriffs. He went to the city police.
Carl is persistent in his search for Tracy. He certainly appears to be a man who does not know where his ex-wife is.
Not one time, but numerous times in the foregoing maybe 48 hours, Carl went looking for his wife, talking with friends and other people looking for her.
Police search for Tracy, canvassing friends and places she often went to, but no leads come of it. With every day that goes by, Tracy's family grows more concerned for their missing loved one.
It's just so out of character for her to leave without letting someone know. Her mom, June, thinks she might have been abducted.
1 week after Tracy goes missing, a body is found in the Choctawhatchee River, near the beach that Tracy and her friends often hung out at.
A local fisherman found the body. He believed it to be something else other than a body, but for precautionary reasons, he called 911. They sent a diver team over and absolutely found the body.
Tracy's body is identified by Ozark Police Chief Alan Benefield, who knows her personally.
The police chief is the one who identified her. She worked at a local restaurant where she knew the police chief at the time. He was one of the first persons on the scene.
An autopsy is performed and it's established that there's water in the lungs. The cause of death is drowning. The body also has marks on the neck, consistent with strangulation. She died from drowning in the river, but she was assaulted first.
Tracy Harris dies in the Choctawhatchee River. But before she goes in the water, someone tries to strangle her to death. The question is, who?
U.S. Money Reserve is proud to announce the television worldwide release of the exclusive 2024 1-ounce Silver Legacy Eagle, crafted under the guidance and leadership of two former U.S. Mint directors, Philip N. Deal and Edmund C. Moy. The Legacy Eagle honors the legacy of the original gold American Eagle design.
Dating back from the earliest years, we really began to focus here in the United States on a family of eagles, and that family-oriented value that was expressed in American coinage. And here at U.S. Money Reserve, we're continuing that tradition by having an annual series of family of eagles depicted on our coinage product.
In a spirited tribute to the American family, the Silver Legacy Eagle displays twin eagles in flight, with the obverse featuring a shielded eagle representing the protection of precious metals against the backdrop of a waving American flag. In the center of the design are 3 stars, representing the 3 guiding principles of unity, strength, and prosperity that inspired the coin's creation. Each coin has been expertly crafted using advanced micro-minting technology to provide an exceptional level of detail. Further enhancing the Legacy Eagle design is a stunning reverse-proof finish with polished devices that shine over a frosted field. Pick up the phone and call U.S. Money Reserve today to be part of this exclusive 2024 1-ounce Silver Legacy Eagle release for only $29 per coin. Each Silver Legacy Eagle contains 1 ounce of 0.9999 pure silver and is official legal tender, guaranteed by its issuing government for weight and purity, adding an important layer of additional security to shield your savings and discover the next generation of pure silver coinage. Call now and order your 1-ounce Silver Legacy Eagle today.
This is the first ever TV commercial for a beach town, a SandCloud beach town. Sand-free, extra large, and worth advertising because they're worth buying. Buy them at sandcloud.com.
I cannot believe everything at Fabletics is 80% off right now. With Fabletics, you know you're getting all the latest styles and colors. So fill your closet today with 80% off your entire first order at Fabletics.com as a new VIP member.
Say goodbye to scooping this holiday season with Litter Robot, the highest-rated self-cleaning litter box that eliminates the chore of scooping while drastically reducing litter mess and odors, even in a multi-cat household. For a limited time, save up to $100 on Litter Robot bundles.
Hey, Jane, what's up?
Well, I'm getting a new car.
Yeah, contemplating the same.
You know, Carvana is super convenient.
Appreciate the tip. Definitely a no-brainer.
I didn't think you'd actually do it.
Well, with same-day delivery, it's no big deal.
New car, new you.
However you buy your car with Carvana.
One more rep to go, buddy.
Emmitt Smith.
You know it, and I know you missed another game.
I want to watch, but TV is so expensive.
Get a Tableau device, and you can watch live sports for free.
It sounds like fantasy football.
No, it's Tableau. You can pause, record, and rewind, so you'll never miss a play. You need to hurry up and get it today.
Okay. Are you always rushing?
Tableau. Learn more at TableauTV.com. It's not fantasy. It's a smart play.
Love is in the air for young Tracy Gunter and boyfriend Carl Harris. Carl and Tracy aren't careful. She's still in high school when she gets pregnant.
Carl agrees to get married because it's the right thing to do. Tracy wants their baby Carolyn to grow up with her father.
The pressures of adult life weigh heavily on this young couple, and their relationship takes a sour turn. They divorce, but but agree to keep living together for young Carolyn's sake. But when Carl returns from a night out with a friend on March 7th, 1990, Tracy has gone missing.
Carl panics. It's entirely out of character for Tracy to disappear without an explanation.
A week later, on March 14th, 1990, a fisherman finds Tracy's body in the nearby Choctawhatchee River.
An autopsy reveals the cause of death is drowning, but her body shows bruising on the neck that tells police a different story. Tracy Harris was murdered.
On the evening of March 7th, 1990, ex-husband Carl Harris drops Tracy at their home after she finishes her shift at a local diner.
Carl then heads out to have a drink with a friend. Their daughter Carolyn is at her grandma June's house, so Tracy's home alone for the night.
Carl doesn't think Tracy would have left the house on her own because he's driving their car. Did someone take her?
It's possible that Tracy went to the door and a stranger abducted her.
The neighbors have reported disturbances at the Harris' house before, but they didn't hear anything wrong that night. So one theory is that a stranger grabs her by the throat to stop her from crying out.
She collapses. It's likely that the attacker assumes she's dead. He carries her body to the river and throws her into the water. We know that at the moment she went into the river, she was still alive because the autopsy said she had water in her lungs.
A friend of Tracy's recalls that she couldn't swim and was terrified of water. She says that when Tracy was baptized at the age of 11, she was hysterical.
If she was conscious when she hit the water, then this would have been a horrifying way for her to die.
Officers combed the area for clues near the location her body was found, and upstream along the river's banks.
Carl is questioned closely about events on the night Tracy disappeared. He tells officers that he brought Tracy home shortly after 9 p.m. and then drove off to meet a friend, Bobby Herring. Officers check his alibi with Herring.
Carl tells police he believes Tracy was attacked in their home. He's certain Tracy would not have gone down to the river by herself that night.
Investigators are unable to turn up any evidence that suggests there was an intruder inside the Harris home. There are no signs of forced entry or struggle.
In the absence of physical evidence suggesting a break-in, police suspicion stays focused on Carl.
Carl is now facing extremely serious suspicions.
I think percentages are that a spouse is the first person to look at, and data shows that it's usually the first person who's looked at because they committed the crime.
Under repeated questioning by police, Carl continues to deny he has anything to do with Tracy's murder.
Police look at the obvious facts. There are no signs of forced entry, which greatly reduces the possibility that it was someone unknown to Tracy.
Carl is the last person who is known to have seen Tracy alive. He has a terrible temper. Police have been called to the house when he gets into a rage. He has a girlfriend on the side.
Everyone knows that Carl Harris is not a model citizen. But is he a murderer?
This is an important message for everyone on Medicare. Right now is the Medicare annual enrollment period, and today we are talking about Medicare Part C, commonly called Medicare Advantage. If you don't have a Medicare Part C plan, call now. You may be eligible for plans in your zip code with additional benefits or cost savings you may not be receiving now or that may have previously not been available to you. Different Part C plans are available in different parts of the country, so don't wait. Call the number on your screen now. If you're on Medicare, you can call even if you called last year. We will check to see if there is a Part C plan available in your area with additional benefits or cost savings. Call to speak with a licensed insurance agent before the end of the annual enrollment period. You don't get Medicare Part C benefits automatically, so call now for your free 2025 no-obligation Medicare benefits review.
Just call 800-297-5810, 800-297-5810.
This is an important message for everyone on Medicare. Right now is the Medicare annual enrollment period, and today we are talking about Medicare Part C, commonly called Medicare Advantage. If you don't have a Medicare Part C plan, call now. You may be eligible for plans in your zip code with additional benefits or cost savings you may not be receiving now or that may have previously not been available to you. Different Part C plans are available in different parts of the country, so don't wait. Call the number on your screen now. If you're on Medicare, you can call even if you called last year. We will check to see if there is a Part C plan available in your area with additional benefits or cost savings. Call to speak with a licensed insurance agent before the end of the annual enrollment period. You don't get Medicare Part C benefits automatically, so call now for your free 2025 no-obligation Medicare benefits review.
Just call 800-297-5810, 800-297-5810.
Have you compared your Medicare plan recently? With eHealth, you can compare Medicare plans side by side for free. So we invited people to give eHealth a try and discover how easy it can be to find your Medicare match.
This is pretty amazing. I can go on a vacation with this money. I have quite a few prescriptions.
That's why people call us. We're going to compare plans, and I'm going to try to get you as much bang for your buck as possible.
That's great.
This one here covers all your prescriptions, your doctors as well.
Oh, wonderful.
I have a hard time with this.
That's okay. That's what I'm here for. Based on our conversation today, I would highly recommend this plan.
You're so helpful. You don't know.
I'm excited for you, sir. Again, my name is Cham. If you have any other questions, give me a ring.
Thank you very much. Oh my God, that was super easy.
See how your Medicare plan stacks up with the big changes for 2025. Just call this number or get started at ehealth.com. Compare plans that cover your doctors, prescriptions, pharmacy, and budget. And compare plans from the nation's top insurance companies. They pay us to help you. How much do you think you'll be able to save using eHealth?
At least $300 a month.
Would you say you found your Medicare match?
Yes, I did. What Sam did, she explained to me exactly what I needed to know.
Well, I have a surprise for you. Cham, come on out.
Oh my goodness!
It's a pleasure to meet you today, sir. What does it feel like to be face to face?
You helped me out quite a bit.
Call to meet your advisor. They're paid the same no matter which Medicare Advantage plan you choose. Ask them about eHealth Live Advice or get started on your own at eHealth.com. Either way, it's always a free service. See if you could get more for less with eHealth, like these folks did.
The savings are unbelievable.
I could see the costs side by side. eHealth is wonderful. $1,200 savings in my pocket. I was really pleasantly surprised with that.
Call 1-800-568-2261 or go to eHealth.com to compare Medicare plans in your area.
eHealth, your Medicare matchmaker.
The True Crime Network. Download the free app.
Coming up next on True Crime Network.
On the evening of March 7th, 1990, Carl Harris returns home from a night out to discover his ex-wife Tracy is gone. He calls the police and checks with friends and family. No one has any idea where she is. A week later, Tracy's body is pulled from the nearby Choctawhatchee River. She died from drowning, but marks on her neck indicate she was assaulted before she went into the water.
This is a homicide. Investigators are searching for clues and considering who might have done this to Tracy.
Her ex-husband Carl, who first reported her missing and still lives with Tracy and their young daughter Carolyn, is a prime suspect.
Ozark Police Chief Alan Benefield knew Tracy and identified her body by the river. He is leading the investigation into her killing.
Benefield first has to consider motive. If Carl killed Tracy, why would he do it? Police need to know more about their relationship.
Carl claims things were fine with him and Tracy, that their living arrangement was amicable, and that they agreed they should both look after their daughter together.
Tracy's mother, June, tells police that Carl was controlling and verbally abusive towards her daughter.
Neighbors who reported arguments at the Harris house say they heard and saw nothing out of the ordinary on the night Tracy went missing.
Police interview Don Beasley, Tracy's close friend and one-time housemate.
Don tells police that Carl has a history of abusing Tracy.
Dawn recalls a violent incident one evening when she and Jeff Beasley were living with the Harrises.
They're fighting over money. Tracy tells Carl the water bill is overdue and they need to pay it or lose service.
Dawn tells police that Carl flies into a rage. He puts his hands around Tracy's throat and threatens that he's going to kill her.
Dawn says it's an example of how easily Carl gets angry and how violent his temper can be.
Fights over money, a history of domestic abuse, and reports from neighbors of loud arguments. Carl is a difficult person, but is he a murderer?
The type of violence that Dawn Beasley describes, strangulation, matches the marks found on Tracy's neck. But does Carl benefit if Tracy is gone?
He had no motive to kill her. There's no motive whatsoever. He wasn't married to her.
Carl and Tracy had an unusual living arrangement. They are divorced, but they sleep in the same bed. Carl has a girlfriend, and somehow Tracy tolerates it. Carl's got everything he wants.
He wasn't having to pay a large sum of child support. There was a $50,000 life insurance policy that Tracy had. However, Carl was not the beneficiary of that. There was no monetary gain, so never was that a motive.
If money isn't the motive, this murder might have happened in the heat of the moment. There's an argument, it leads to a fight, and in a rage, Carl strangles Tracy.
The police officer indicated that it was determined that Carl strangled his wife at his home.
She passes out, and he assumes that she's dead.
Took her motionless body into the back of his vehicle, took the body to a river arguably 10 miles away, threw the body into the river.
But she's still alive, and she drowns in the water. Police work to prove their theory that Carl is the killer.
They believe that the crime scene was his home.
Investigators need hard evidence or a witness that can connect Carl to the murder to bring a murder charge against Carl.
A search of Carl's truck that he admits to driving on the night of the killing yields no physical evidence that is helpful to the investigation.
Tracy and Carl share the home and the vehicle, so it's natural to find her hair and DNA everywhere. This can make the police investigation more complicated.
After a thorough investigation, the ex-husband remains their only suspect. But without evidence or a witness, there's not enough cause to file a charge against Carl Harris.
Tracy's murder remains unsolved, and her killer walks free for years.
Anyone home?
In here, Aunt Jean.
How's it going, honey?
There's a lot to take care of. More sympathy cards.
Your mom was well loved. I hope you know how grateful she was to have you.
I know. Speaking of grateful, what is it? It's a check from United of Omaha Life Insurance Company. Mom's life insurance.
Life insurance? So soon?
Just like they said.
My sister. Always looking out for her family.
I can still hear her. I don't want my bills to be your problem. This check will help a lot.
If you're age 45 to 85, you can't be turned down for up to $25,000 in life insurance from United of Omaha. Policies start at just $6.38 a month, and benefits could be paid in as little as 24 hours.
How did she qualify? You know, with her health issues.
With these policies, health issues don't matter. She was so relieved.
Policies are available with no health questions, no medical exam, no blood tests.
I just assumed life insurance would be way over my budget.
No one kept a tighter budget than Mom. If she can manage the rates, you can too.
But did her rates go up every year?
Nope. There's a rate lock built into the policy.
Policies start at just $6.38 a month. Your rate is locked in for life. The cost of a funeral can be $9,000 or more. With one call, you can give your loved ones the protection they need to help pay these costs. And unlike some policies, benefits are payable from the first day.
Mom just felt better knowing we'd have help, and I couldn't be more grateful. You should call United of Omaha.
I guess I'll never stop learning from my big sister.
Don't put off life insurance. Call United of Omaha today.
Call 800-951-6921. You can't be turned down. Call today to lock in your rates. 800-951-6921. That's 800-951-6921.
This holiday, treat yourself and your loved ones to something special. At Fabletics, enjoy 80% off every single thing when you sign up as a new VIP. Shop now and wrap up the season in style. Only at Fabletics.com.
Ozark Police Chief Alan Benefield suspects that Carl Harris is responsible for the murder of his ex-wife Tracy. Family and friends tell police the relationship between Carl and Tracy was volatile, to the point of occasional violence.
Dawn and Jeff Beasley lived with the Harrises until the arguments made life under their roof too uncomfortable.
Given Carl's history of alleged abuse, he is the most likely perpetrator. Indeed, for police, he's the only person they suspect.
But without witnesses or hard evidence linking Carl to the murder, he's not charged and time passes.
The people of Ozark are initially surprised that Carl is not held responsible for Tracy's death.
Carl is tried and convicted in the court of public opinion. It seems obvious that someone with Carl's violent temper and history of abuse could escalate to killing her.
In a small city like Ozark, the rumors follow Carl wherever he goes. It becomes impossible for him to find work.
No one will knowingly hire someone who's got away with murder.
Unable to find work in Ozark, Carl leaves town seeking a new home where people don't recognize his name. He ends up in North Carolina.
Little Carolyn has lost her mom, and now her dad has left town. Her grandma June adopts her.
June is very protective of Carolyn. She knows about the kind of abuse her daughter endured, and she doesn't want Carl to have custody of the child. Staying in a small city after a murder in the family can be very hard on the surviving family members. Reminders of Tracy are everywhere, and neighbors all know you from the single notorious incident.
June takes Carolyn away from Ozark to the small town of Orange, Texas. It's a small community of roughly 18,000 people, similar in size to Ozark.
Here, nobody knows June and Carolyn and their tragic history. For years, June raises Carolyn as if she's her own daughter. And given how young Carolyn is when Tracy is killed, June becomes the only mother she's really known.
Carolyn's mother Tracy is gone, but she is not forgotten.
Once Carolyn is old enough to understand, June tells her about the ugly history of her mom and dad in Ozark.
June doesn't want Carolyn to find out what happened to her mom through gossip or a story on the news. It's best if it comes from her.
It can't be easy for Carolyn to hear that her dad abused her mom, that he eventually killed her, and that he actually got away with it.
June believes Carl is guilty of killing Tracy. But even if he didn't do it, Carl was cruel to Tracy while she was alive. He's not someone June wants Carolyn to have anything to do with.
When Carolyn grows to become a young woman, Carl Harris sends her a message asking if there's any chance they can have a relationship.
This man has been absent from most of her childhood and all of her teenage years. They are now completely estranged.
June has told Carolyn that her dad was violent towards Tracy and was likely responsible for her mom's death.
Even if she agreed to renewing her relationship to Carl, she doesn't believe he would tell her the truth of what really happened when her mom died.
Unless he owns up to his past and takes responsibility for his actions, Carolyn sees no reason to make space for him.
Then, in 2015, June Carolyn Gunter passes away. According to June's wishes, she will be buried next to her daughter Tracy in Ozark.
This means Carolyn would have to return to Ozark for the first time since she left as a small child.
She makes the painful trip back to the place she was born, the place her mother was killed, in order to bury her grandma, the only mother she's really known.
When Carolyn comes back to Ozark to bury her grandma, the only thing she knows about this place is that her mother was killed here, and that the prime suspect in her mom's slaying is her dad.
She's lived her whole life with questions about what really happened to her mom and why nothing has ever been done about it.
She decides then and there to find answers, to find justice for Tracy.
Coincidentally, Ozark's new police chief, Merrill Walker, is reviewing the cold case files at the same time Carolyn starts looking into the death of her mom.
After reviewing the case, Chief Walker is convinced of the same thing everyone else already seemed to know, that Carl killed Tracy.
But this police chief believes he has enough evidence to put Carl Harris on trial.
All right, good morning. As you know, Carvana's same-day delivery is ultra fast, and today, race car driver Jimmy Johnson is here to get us even faster. Jimmy, you ready?
I am so Fuel's coming in. We're good.
Oh, cool. Here's some paperwork for same-day delivery. Oh, nice racing stripes.
Thanks, Champ. The door's pretty quick, too.
Amazing. I just ordered it this morning.
Now that's fast.
Ultra fast. Buy your car from Carvana and get same-day delivery.
Spend less time making drinks and more time making memories. Introducing Bartesian. The perfect pour every time. For every cocktail at your party.
Get our best Black Friday deal now, only at Bartesian.com/deal.
There has never been a better time to join AARP. This special offer gives you exclusive access to hundreds of AARP discounts, programs, and services that will add real value to your life. As a member, you can get discounts on glasses and eye exams, save on prescription drugs not covered by Medicare. But you can also save on travel, hotels, restaurants, concert tickets, and so much more.
I didn't know that.
AARP helps members access exclusive benefits like Medicare supplement insurance, even auto insurance.
We can use that.
AARP offers financial tips, career resources, and tools that may help you avoid identity theft and scammers.
That's good to know.
Pick up the phone now to join AARP. Just $9 per year. That's 43% off the regular membership price. You'll even get a second membership included free. And you'll receive AARP the magazine filled with information and articles important to you. Plus, you'll get hundreds of benefits and an additional free gift if you call now.
And you don't have to be retired to join AARP. You can join at 50 for instant access to many member benefits. For 60 years, AARP has fought to protect your Social Security, Medicare, and more.
That sounds good to me.
Now you know how AARP helps people like us take on today. So don't miss your chance to join now.
Call or go online now to take advantage of this special Black Friday offer. Just $9 per year when you sign up for a 5-year term. That's 43% off the regular membership price. And you'll get a second membership for anyone in your home free. And AARP the magazine, filled with information and articles important to you. Plus, you get the AARP mobile app that connects you to local events and activities near you. And as a free gift, we'll include this insulated trunk organizer. So don't miss this chance to save 43%. Join AARP, just $9 per year.
Call 800-264-6984 or go online today.
Loved ones taken too soon. They're killers, still walking free.
Is it possible that there's a serial killer out there?
But for these victims, justice is finally coming, finally caught. Next on True Crime Network.
On the night of March 7th, 1990, in the town of Ozark, Alabama, Tracy Harris is attacked and strangled in her home. She is still alive when she is driven to the Chattahoochee River and thrown in. She drowns, and her body is found a week later.
The only suspect in the case is her ex-husband, Carl Harris. He's suspected of murder and investigated for weeks, but never charged.
A quarter century after Tracy's murder, her daughter Carolyn returns to Ozark for the first time since her mother's untimely death.
She's there to fulfill her Grandma June's final wishes, to be buried next to her daughter.
After all these years, Carolyn decides she wants some answers, and if possible, justice for Tracy.
She goes public with her suspicions that the Ozark police blew the case against Carl back in 1990.
Ozark Police Chief Marlos Walker meets with District Attorneys Kirk Adams and Jordan Davis to discuss the cold case.
They can see that a lack of hard evidence discouraged police from laying murder charges against Carl. It's
seems clear to the team that with more police work, the case is solvable.
They're not coming at this case from the perspective of, well, we need to figure out who killed Tracy. So they're thinking they know who killed Tracy. Now they just need to prove it.
One of the unusual things about this decision is that there's no new evidence in the case.
Often a cold case gets reopened because new technology allows forensic experts to test for DNA in items gathered as evidence.
There's no evidence to change. Nothing changed. There's no evidence that changed from 1990 until 2016 when he was arrested. None.
In the absence of new evidence, police start the process of re-interviewing witnesses who gave statements back in 1990.
And investigators go to North Carolina to interview Carl.
The police officers from our city here went to North Carolina to interview him.
His first response is, good. They're finally going to track down her killer, and we're all going to get some answers.
He's genuinely shocked when he realizes they're still looking at him as the prime suspect.
Absolutely shocking because that had been, 26 years ago. And he had been in the area for 24 to 26 years.
2 weeks later, on September 13th, 2016, Carl Harris is arrested. 2 weeks after the arrest, Carl's attorney, David Harrison, gets him out on bail.
The prosecution is confident in their case against him, but Harrison assures Carl he shouldn't worry.
They had no motive whatsoever. Carl did. There was no crime scene. There was no blood on the floor, no DNA in Carl's truck, no eyewitnesses, nothing.
From Harrison's perspective, the prosecution of Carl Harris in 2016 is without a foundation in law.
I've been doing this 31 years. I've handled numerous cases, tried 170 criminal jury trials. Without a doubt, it was political pressure.
Investigators have a working theory of what happened to Tracy the night she was murdered.
Carl finishes his shift at Superfoods at 9 p.m. Shortly after, he picks up Tracy from her job at the diner.
When they arrive home, Carl drops Tracy off and goes on to meet a friend. After Tracy heads inside, Carl waits and then goes in after her. Then Carl strangles her in their home.
That's what the testimony was. So they believe that the crime scene was his home.
When she falls unconscious and collapses, Carl assumes she's dead. He then carries her to the truck. Carl dumps Tracy's body in the Chachawachi River. He is unaware that she is still alive.
He then gets in his truck and drives to meet his friend, Bobby Herring.
When he's first interviewed by detectives in 1990, Herring said Carl met him around 9:30 p.m. It's a pretty tight window to pick up Tracy from work after 9, strangle her, dump her body, and meet up with his friend by 9:30.
He would have to do all of that and travel roughly 20 miles in the span of 30 minutes.
It's not impossible, but it doesn't leave any margin for error.
Carl's attorney, David Harrison, believes the DA's timeline of events is flat out impossible.
In his view, they've decided that Carl is their man, and they'll manufacture whatever narrative is necessary to make it all fit.
If someone asks me what's the problem with the system, prosecutors and policemen get that target who they think committed the crime, and they try to make the evidence fit the crime, fit the defendant who they want.
Prosecutors are confident that material witnesses will help them make their case against Carl Harris.
What they don't expect is that one witness is about to blow a hole in everything they know to be true.
At Humana, we believe your health care should evolve with you, and part of that evolution means choosing the right Medicare plan for you. Humana can help. Hi, my name is Sam Davis, and I'm going to tell you about Medicare Advantage prescription drug plans that can provide more coverage than original Medicare, including prescription drug coverage, all wrapped up into one convenient plan. With original Medicare, you're covered for hospital stays and doctor office visits, but you have to meet a deductible for each, and then you're still responsible for 20% of the cost. Next, let's look at Medicare supplement plans. If a service is covered under Original Medicare, then a Medicare supplement plan pays for some or all of your Medicare deductibles and the 20% co-insurance. But they may have higher monthly premiums and no prescription drug coverage. Humana Medicare Advantage prescription drug plans include medical coverage, plus prescription drug coverage, with $0 copays on hundreds of prescriptions. Most plans include $0 copays for covered preventive dental services, vision coverage that includes vision exams and a yearly allowance toward eyewear. Even hearing benefits that include routine hearing exams and coverage toward hearing aids. You can get $0 copays for in-network preventive services and $0 copays for routine